Well, I was going to say good morning. It is good morning for me, but hello everyone. I got tagged in a book tag, so let's go ahead and do this. I was tagged by Leslie from Books, Gers, and Purrs. I will link the channel in the description box. And this is the Snob-O-Meter Book-Tag. So I thought, why not? Let's go ahead. It'll be fun. So let me pull up the questions. And let's see, this is the first time I'm looking at these questions. Question number 1, or prompt number 1, what is your definition of book snobbery? I would say people that say reading a certain something is not considered reading. For example, listening to an audiobook is not considered reading. I've heard that. And it's like, hello, what about people who are visually impaired or blind or have trouble reading print on words? Listening to an audiobook is reading. Or people that have, like myself, where things click and make more sense when I listen to an audiobook and read along. Granted, I'm reading along, so their thing does not apply to me, but listening to an audiobook is reading, okay? It is reading. People that say it is not, I think of them as a snob. So, or at least a snob regarding that particular thing. That opinion is very snobbish, in my opinion. It is reading. People that say reading comics, magazines, graphic novels is not considered reading, yes it is, okay? It's reading. If it's something that you enjoy and you're not scrolling on your phone, you're actually reading something, it is reading. So I'm sorry, there's tons of things that you can read, and if someone were to say insert whatever type of reading is not reading, that's a snobbish opinion in my opinion. So yeah, I don't like those. So, or reading not in your age category, and being like, well, you're an adult, you have to read only adult. Excuse me? You can read whatever age category you want, okay? All right, moving on. Number 2, is there a genre or type of book you would never consider reading? Such as, would you never read a romance, or if you regularly read romance, would you ever try a science fiction novel? In answer, is there a genre or type of book you would never consider reading? No. I am willing to try anything. I read just about every genre. I am not as well versed as Western. And horror, I tend to read more mystery thriller when it comes to that horror umbrella. I read romance, I read literary, I read women's, I read sci-fi. I'm not as well versed as sci-fi compared to, there's Polly's back. I'm more versed in fantasy than I am sci-fi. So I'll read anything. So yeah. Question number 3, does erotica count as literature? Yes, it does. Okay, and I can prove that. Let's go. Okay, so if you want to be more on the snobby end of it, it would be this definition that pops up when you Google it. It says, where I typed in definition of literature, definition of literature are written works, especially those considered superior or lasting artistic merit. Now, art is subjective, okay? You either like something or you don't. You interpret it one way or you interpret it a different way. So that, yeah. A similar definition under that, it says books and writings published on a particular subject, the literature on environmental epidemiology, And it's like, okay, that's getting very specific, but okay, fine. Leaflets and other printed matter used to advertise products or give advice. That's considered promotional literature. So, yeah. And then, according to Wikipedia, it says literature is any collection of written work, but it is also used more narrowly for writing specifically considered to be an art form. Again, art is subjective. Especially novels, plays, and poems. Includes both print and digital. So With those definitions, absolutely, erotica is literature. I have heard that people say erotica is porn. I don't agree with that, but I can see how they would think that. And just don't pick it up. If you don't think it is and you don't want to read it, don't pick it up. Simple. And don't make people feel bad for reading a certain genre or age category or anything. That is very snobbish in my opinion. Okay. Back to the questions. Number 4, is it better to read classic books than popular bestsellers? No, it is not better. And if you want to switch that, is it better to read bestsellers over classics? No, it is not better. I'm just happy that you're reading. There are people who do get kind of snobby that read specifically only bestsellers, and people that get snobby that read only classics. Don't make people feel bad. You enjoy what you like to read. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? If you want to read only classics, good for you. Read all the classics. You want to read only bestsellers and new releases? Good for you. Go for it. You're reading. That's what counts. Okay? All right. And again, nothing is better than the other. Let's see. Number 5, have you ever bragged about reading a classic in order to sound smart? No. If I have bragged, it's been more like, for example, I've read War and Peace. You know how chunky that book is? It's a classic. It has older English writing. It's translated from, was it Russian? And the writing is more dense compared to modern day literature that's released. So for me, it's like a bragging for myself. Look at what I accomplished. I read this work. It's a harder read. And I did it. Not because I'm smarter. I'm just proud I conquered that beast. So that is it. Moving on. Number 6, do audiobooks count as reading? Yes. I've already discussed that. Yes, they do. What about comic books or graphic novels? Yes, they do. I'm not taking any other answer for that. I'm sorry. If you have a different opinion, fine. I don't agree with it. They are reading. Okay? Number 7, have you ever looked down at someone for reading a popular fluff book? No. I've read popular fluff books because they sound good. Okay? So no, there's no reason to look down on anyone for reading whatever they're reading. No reason. Let's see. And it says, for example, like a book with little substance to it, like a self-help book or celebrity memoir. Again, no. If you want to read those, fine. I'm reading a celebrity memoir. I'm reading Making It So by Patrick Stewart. I've read self-help books. Okay? It's whatever you want to read and are in the mood for. So, yeah. Number 8, have you ever been the recipient of someone else's snobbery? Not directly. Indirectly, for example, someone has said that that adults should only read adults. You need to read in your age category. That is so stupid. And someone talking about how dim-witted people are. It was along those lines. They didn't really use those words, but they were talking down about people that read, for example, erotica or other works, literary works. So, and it's like, well, I read every genre and I read every age category. So by them talking down on those people means they're talking down on me too. So that's the extent of being that, but not so indirectly, but not directly. Okay, number 9. Would you ever be friends with a snob? Or maybe you already are. If I am friends with a snob, I don't know it. Would I be friends with a snob? Part of me wants to say no, but at the same time, I would just be like, I would hope I would stand up for myself and say, look, this is my opinion, that's your opinion, let's not discuss it any further, okay? Plain and simple. So, like an overall snob, like who I'm richer and better than you, and that no, I have no desire for that. But someone that just has a snobbish opinion about books, maybe they're a great person outside of that, so I don't want to say no for sure. I wouldn't be friends with them, but at the same time, it's a big turnoff. So, let's see. Number 10, almost done. 10, are people who don't read less sophisticated than people who do? No. just because you don't read, some people don't like to read. They would rather watch movies, play video games. They would rather play board games. They would rather do other stuff, do arts and crafts. Just not everyone likes to read, and that is fine. Okay? Readers are not more sophisticated or educated than those who are non-readers. So, no. Number 11, and this is the last official question. It says, measure yourself. Based on your answers to the previous 10 questions, would you qualify as a book snob? No. I would not. I think, again, reading is subjective. Literature is an art. I do agree with that. And it is all subjective. It's all opinion. What can you read at this time? For example, I have a hard time reading about, I will still read it, but it will bother me, and I have to, when I come across this part in a book, I have to take a break for a little bit from the book before continuing on. If animal death and cruelty is depicted on page, I do have a hard time with that. I know at one other point in my life, reading about someone having suicidal ideations and suicide depicted on page, I would not have been able to read that. So it's all a time in your life, and just something that you may hate right now, you may enjoy in the future, and vice versa. Something you enjoy now, you may hate in the future. Reading is wonderful, and if you don't like to read, that's fine too. As long as you do something you enjoy doing, something that can help alleviate stress, that is relaxing and soothing to you, great. For some people, it is reading. For other people, it is painting. Who knows? So, yeah. My thought just derailed completely, and I can't remember what I was saying along those lines before that, but no, I don't consider myself a snob. I'm welcoming to anyone who reads, whether if all you read are comics, if all you read are magazines, great. If you don't read, fine too. Don't care. Do something that you enjoy. And those are all of the questions. There is one more prompt, and it is to tag some people. There's two that come to my mind who I would love to see their opinions on these, and that is Whitney from Tibera's Den and Amy from A Star Reads. Obviously, if they happen to see these videos and they go, book tags are not for me, that's fine. You don't have to do them. I just think it'd be interesting to see your opinion. But again, you don't have to do the tag. So if you have seen this and would like to do that, then consider yourself tagged as well. So that is the Book Snob book tag. Let me know your answers to any of these questions. Do you disagree with any of my opinions? Definitely let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.